What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And in today's episode, with this one, guys, I just couldn't go another day without reacting to this one. There's so many of you guys recommending me to react to this video, this animation. Like, I was really surprised how many people wanted to see this reaction. You guys are telling me this is a really good story, and it's really, really interesting. And so far, from the looks of things, I'm assuming it's going to be about the O5 Council. The title made it seem kind of confusing because I'm not too familiar with like the Ouroboros Cycle, and I don't know if I'm doing this out of order or if it matters if I do it in order. Please let me know in the comment section below if I should do it in order, or is it okay to just react to this? But either way, I'm going to react to it today. But yeah, I just want to know in future reactions. So without any further ado, this animation is The O5 Council Must Die, SCP-001. The way it ends. So it's another 001 proposal. The way it ends. The O5 Council must die. Is it talking about the deaths of all the O5 Council? Some entity's going to kill the council? Whatever it's going to be, I hope it's juicy. So with that being said, if you're one of the people that want to see this reaction, or you end up liking this reaction along the way, please remember to smash that like button. On these recommendation videos, it will be much appreciated because I actually look at the comments and see what you guys want to see, and I actually dish it out for you guys. So if you like the video, please remember to like it. And also remember to smash the sub button if you're not already part of the family. I make reactions like this daily for you guys, so you always get your fix of SCP heat. And I'm telling you, man, if you love my reaction style, you love SCP content, guys, you're home. So have fun with the family and tune in, because we ain't gonna stop. All gas, no brakes. Let's get it popping together. With all out the way, without any further ado, let's get this show started. Alrighty, the O5 Council must die. SCP-001. The way it ends. Let's see how it ends.
Calvin Lucien stands at the end of a dusty table in an abandoned warehouse. In the shadows across from him sit several hidden figures. The warehouse is falling apart, but is suitable for the meeting Calvin has requested with the heads of the Chaos Insurgency. He has completed numerous missions for the organization, and each one has been successful. Now he is proposing one final mission. Calvin Lucien takes a tattered journal out of his bag and slides it across the table to the figures sitting in the shadows.
Okay.
It's a journal with details on the habits of each of the 13 Foundation overseers, he says. There is silence from the other end of the table.
How did you get
A hand
that?
reaches out and grabs the journal. The pages begin to turn. The new models indicate an anomalous catastrophe is imminent. Not even the Foundation can stop it. The only way to save the world is to kill the overseers. There are whispers from across the table as Calvin continues.
The overseers?
The proliferation of anomalies in the world are the fault of the overseers. They have been meddling with reality. If business continues as usual, we might not make it out of the 2020s. We need to act now. The whispering from the shadows resumes, this time with what seems to be a little more urgency.
Who's he talking
One
to?
of the voices asks the question on everyone's mind. How do you plan to kill the overseers? They have a deal with death. They are immortal. Calvin smiled.
Okay, so they're talking about Henderson, or whatever his name, the dude that was controlling the factory, where the last council member made a deal with him and resurrected the O5 Council. I'm assuming since they were resurrected, they're immortal now. But it was that part one, and then the first O5 Council reaction video I did, it talked about they use this SCP, which is basically the Fountain of Youth. So I'm assuming it might be both, because if it was just the Fountain of Youth, they wouldn't bring up death. So it's interesting. Why would you double dip if you're already, immortal? I don't know. It is weird, but we'll keep it going.
Nelson takes out a small vial from his jacket pocket. With this, he says. There is a silence from the shadows. The journal slides back across the table and comes to a stop right in front of Calvin.
By itself?
A deep voice from the shadows says, "Do it." Calvin Lucien gathers his team. The codename given to the group is Kill Squad.
Oh my
He informs them
god.
that they've been cleared to take out the overseers. It will be the most dangerous mission they've ever been on. And even if successful, they probably won't make it out alive.
How are you going to kill the council? They're immortal. I don't want to know that potion. Like, what, is that like some god killer potion? Like, what is going on? And how does the SCP? It seems like a mission in itself. I don't know. We'll just keep going.
But the team is loyal. They set out to confront the 13th Overseer. This has to be their first stop, because without eliminating O5-13, nothing else will matter. It is this overseer who has a deal with death. A deal that protects all of the Foundation overseers from dying.
So, okay, 0513 was the one that made the deal, because mind you, I guess they're not part of the deal though, but they're still immortal. Because he did resurrect all the council members that died within the Fairy War, but I guess he wasn't resurrected, so he didn't get the same immortality as them, I'm assuming. Or he might be the one in control of their immortality, like if he dies, they all die. Because that would make sense if they're just going after 013.
If that deal can be broken, then Calvin Lucien and his team will have a shot at eradicating the other overseers. If the deal with death cannot be broken, all is lost.
Dang.
The team boards a ship at the tip of South America and sails towards the frozen waters of Antarctica. The kill squad is made up of Calvin and 3 others.
Calvin.
They sit in the galley preparing for the mission ahead.
Generic name.
Anthony Wright is a battle-hardened soldier who sits at one end of the table.
Okay.
His face is covered with scars. No one can remember when he first joined the insurgency, because it was so long ago. Next to him is Olivia Torres. She is an anarchist who was recruited into the insurgency after she was liberated from a Foundation site during a raid. Adam Ivanov sits staring into his computer screen. He is testing different gadgets that might be of use on the mission. He pushes his glasses up the bridge of his nose and strikes the Enter key. A long line of code begins to scroll across the screen. A siren begins to sound, informing the crew to make their way to the main deck.
Let's
When
get
they
it.
surface from the bowels of the ship, they see something in the distance. It is a giant black tower rising from the depths of the ocean like an evil iceberg.
Is that SCP?
Waves crash over the side of the railings, drenching the deck and crew with frigid water.
Came from the
Calvin
ocean?
looks at the jagged rocks along the shore of the tower. There is no way to safely dock. There is only one way onto the island. They know what needs to be
That
done.
has to be SCP.
Anthony waits for the next wave, then opens the throttle to full. The ship is carried towards the island on the crest of the wave. The hull is impaled on the rocks surrounding the tower, sending everything flying towards the front of the boat. See? That wasn't so bad, Calvin says to his team
This
as he
dude.
bandages a gash on his hand. Knowing what lays ahead, Calvin orders his team to wait on the ship while he makes his own deal with death. He enters the dark structure and is greeted by a corpse. The corpse speaks to him, ejecting dust from its lungs with every word.
So this is a SCP. This island itself, I'm assuming. And it's just crazy, like they're just casually going there to see death. What the heck?
The corpse speaks to him, ejecting dust from its lungs with every word. Its breath smells like decaying flesh.
I bet.
Death has inhabited the body of Dr. Felix Carter, the 13th overseer. Calvin is prepared, though thanks to the notes in the journal he possesses. Without hesitating,
How do you
he
get
takes
that
out
journal?
a small bottle of liquid from his pocket and lunges at the corpse. He grabs it by the neck, tilts the head back, and pours liquid down what is left of the throat of Felix Carter.
And he's just gonna let this happen? Make this make sense. Is he not able to defend himself? Or is he just really thirsty? Yo.
The corpse reanimates into the living Dr. Carter. Death has been removed from his body by liquid from the Fountain of Youth that Calvin had acquired on a previous raid on a Foundation site. Seeing that Dr. Carter is now alive, Calvin
Nice.
takes out his pistol and shoots the doctor twice, killing him. Calvin picks up the body and throws it into a bottomless pit at the base of the tower. Dr. Felix Carter's body disappears from sight. The Overseer's deal with death is now broken.
Wow, just
They are
like that.
vulnerable and can be killed at last.
That was like way easier than like. Why didn't he do anything? He didn't even like put up a fight. Like he just wanted to die. What the heck, bro?
Calvin smiles and begins to turn away from the pit.
It's gotta be a
He
joke.
comes face to face with death.
Uh-oh.
She stands with her head cocked to the side, looking at Calvin.
She?
So it is you who has broken the Overseer's deal with me, Calvin Lucien. Calvin takes a step back. Why didn't she stop him from killing Felix Carter? Something festers at the heart of the council, Death says. Something that will not die. I thought that perhaps if I had a seat at their table, I could find it, make it die. But I couldn't. There are things in this world beyond even my reach, Calvin Lucien. With that parting
Reality
thought,
benders?
Death vanishes. The kill squad contacts the insurgency for an evac, and then makes their way to Japan, where 05-12, also known as the Accountant, has been working out of Tokyo. He is so proficient in mathematics and probability that he can actually predict the future. Everything about the accountant's life, down to the number of breaths and steps he takes each day.
Okay, we need to reel it back in. We actually are seeing the council in real life. They're not like hidden figures or black, silhouettes. And we're actually getting powers of each councilman. I hope this is canon. But it's SCPs. It could probably not be canon. But anyway, that's cool. This guy has the power to like freaking tell the future.
Urgency for an evac, and then makes their way to Japan, where 05-12, also known as the accountant, has been working out of Tokyo.
The accountant.
He is so proficient in mathematics and probability that he can actually predict the future. Everything about the accountant's life, down to the number of breaths and steps he takes each day, is predetermined, based on his own statistical models. This poses a problem for Calvin and his team. If the accountant can see them coming, then how can they possibly kill him? That night, the accountant steps out of his car. He looks to the left and spots Adam. He has already predicted this man has hostile intentions. The accountant walks directly towards Adam, and before he can react, throws the kill squad member to the ground. Then he turns slightly and adjusts his watch, sending a glare directly into the window where Anthony has the accountant in his sights of his sniper rifle.
The accountant's on it. Yo, this is sick.
Anthony fires, but misses, due to being blinded by the glare. The accountant is surprised that he just barely had time to avoid being shot. Normally, he would be several steps ahead of anyone trying to kill him. He turns his head and watches as Olivia helps Adam up and they run down a nearby alley. The accountant pursues them and corners the kill squad members in the alley. He pulls a gun to shoot Adam, but Olivia tackles Adam behind a dumpster as the bullet hits the wall directly behind where Adam
I thought it was going to hit her.
The accountant can't believe that he missed.
What the heck?
He was almost tricked into being captured by the insurgency team.
Why do you not predict that, though? Like, he could see the future, so, like, he should have saw that chick push him, and he could have just shot where, that person was supposed to land. But there might be, like, a lag time or whatever with this, like, visions.
He senses uncertainty in his assailants' actions and runs away, unable to predict exactly what they are planning to do. The accountant climbs the stairs to a subway station and boards the last car of the train. It is empty except for one man, Calvin Lucian. The accountant is dumbfounded.
Yo.
How are you here? He screams. I should have seen this coming. Calvin stands up. He uses his thumb to flip a coin into the air. On the way down, he grabs it and smacks it on the back of his opposing hand. Calvin smiles. The team has been making their decisions based on the flip of a coin.
What?
Which introduced randomness into their actions that even this super advanced mathematician could not account for.
Dang.
Tell me where 05-11 is, demands Calvin. The accountant pauses, then shakes his head no. If he's going to die either way, then why give any information to the kill squad? Calvin flips the coin up in the air, catches it, and looks at it. The coin is face up. Calvin lifts his pistol and shoots the accountant in the head. A few nights later, Olivia stands on the balcony outside of an art exhibit overlooking the city of Seattle. Anthony walks up behind her and tells her that the Foundation is defeated, but Olivia doesn't understand how. We broke the overseer's deal with death and killed the accountant. There's nothing more to do. We can go back to our normal lives, he tells her. Olivia is skeptical, though. What about the 11th overseer and his ability to... Olivia's eyes suddenly go wide.
What's his ability?
She pulls out a knife and stabs it into Anthony's heart. The world around her begins to distort and fall apart. It was a false reality created by 05-11, better known as the Liar.
Yo.
Olivia wakes up next to Adam in a hotel room. She sits up in a bed and rubs her eyes. What a weird dream, she thinks. Then she realizes it wasn't a dream. She shakes Adam awake. Neither of them have any idea how they ended up here, but they know it must be the doing of the Liar. They had planned for this, though, with Calvin having created a contingency plan. They pull out a laptop and log in to view the classified information Calvin left for them.
Am I thinking about something else? No. Okay, if you guys are follow me here. In the Wondertainment reaction that I made, one of the SCPs that the Wondertainment entity made, wasn't it called The Liar? And he has the ability to literally whatever he writes or says becomes true. So technically, if it is that SCP, which is The Liar, he will be able to do something like this. Because he could just write this out like a script and that can become reality. And if that is the case, how did he make it on the council? How did he make it on the council? And wouldn't that be weird? Like an SCP from Wondertainment is on the council, but the council is trying to look for Wondertainment and try to keep. Guys, this is really weird. If it's the same SCP, how did he make it on the council? What the heck?
Olivia begins to type but stops halfway through her password and looks up from the screen. Olivia pulls out the gun that rests under her pillow and shoots at him. The false reality created by the liar falls apart around her. Olivia comes out of the previous lie and is sitting across the table from Calvin.
Oh.
She immediately draws her pistol and points it at Calvin's head. Is it really him? Or just another one of the liar's games? Calvin tries to talk Olivia down, and she looks around the room for inconsistencies that might tip her off that this is another lie, but doesn't find any. Olivia begins to relax.
Thank God.
She tells Calvin that the liar is trying to get something from her. Maybe the journal can tell them what he is looking for.
How do you get that journal?
She still has it. Olivia nods her head and holds out her wrist where a subdermal chip with a copy of the journal on it has been placed. Calvin looks at her wrist.
Wow.
The world around them begins to dissipate as Calvin morphs into the liar. Olivia wakes up in a hospital where she is hooked up to an IV. Sitting across from her is a former insurgency agent named Sam Beale. He explains to her that he is the liar. He was forced into becoming a monster by the Foundation. They had manipulated him, but now he is tired of running and can't do it anymore.
Okay. He's not on the council. He's been manipulated by them. That makes sense. Yo. And I would understand why the council would do that because he's pretty broken. Because like he's basically a reality bender without being a reality bender. If you guys get what I'm saying, like it's kind of crazy. His powers are nutty.
She is free to go. Olivia hesitantly unhooks herself from the IV. She walks out of the hospital room and proceeds down a fluorescent lit hallway. As she walks away, she hears a gunshot from the hospital room.
Uh-oh.
As Olivia's in the hospital, Calvin and Adam walk through a dense forest. They are searching for 05-10. The journal indicates that the 10th Overseer's identity within the Foundation is the archivist. In the middle of the clearing are two saplings standing side by side. The void between the saplings shimmers. Calvin walks through the portal and the space begins to warp and twist around him.
Oh my God.
His vision finally comes back into focus, and Calvin finds himself in another world. Adam enters the world behind Calvin, practically knocking him over as he enters through the portal. This is the Wanderer's library, but it doesn't look anything like they expected. Instead of rows of books, the library is filled with computer mainframes.
What the heck?
Humming with the collected knowledge of how to contain
an indestructible creature.
A critical backup.
Yo.
As the two look intently at the strange machines, a figure in a silver robe suddenly steps out of the darkness. It's tall and thin, and though its hood is pulled down so they can't see its face,
Who is that?
they can see that its hands are covered in scales that have a slight emerald tint. It is one of the librarians. Calvin tells the librarian that they are seeking the archivist, but the librarian tells them that the archivist is no longer in the library. She has broken her pact with the serpent and eaten fruit from the forbidden trees.
Okay, Eve.
If they want to see her, though,
What the heck?
the librarian can take them to her. Calvin and Adam follow the librarian down a long staircase, passing by countless doors filled with books, scrolls, works of art, an entire universe of knowledge.
Watch this be a trap.
Eventually, they reach the bottom of the stairs, where there stands a giant set of brass doors. Beyond the door, the librarian explains, is the source of all knowledge.
Sure.
Before Calvin and Adam pass through the doors, though, Calvin turns to the librarian. Before we go in, I'd like to make a withdrawal, he says. The librarian nods and pulls out a silver tube out of its robe. It hands the tube to Adam, and he looks it over in his hands.
Withdraw?
He looks up to ask what this is, but the librarian has vanished. The door then opens, and the two step through. Calvin and Adam feel as if they walk through the same kind of portal that brought them to the library, and find that they have walked into a lush green valley with two trees. Sitting underneath one of them is a woman in a white dress.
Oh.
She is reading a book and eating a piece of fruit. Are
Oh,
you the
510?
archivist? Calvin asks. The woman nods yes, and that's all the confirmation Calvin needs. He raises his pistol and fires, but the bullet passes right through the archivist as
Okay.
if she wasn't there.
I was about to say, like, if this was going to happen again, she's just going to die just like that. Like, they're not even putting up a fight. It's not even fun. Like, yo, what is going on? So let's see her powers.
Do you read? The archivist asked Calvin, seemingly not fazed by his attempts to shoot her. I haven't had much time recently, Calvin replied. The archivist explains that she's read every book in the library. The collected knowledge of the universe is in the books. Even one on how to allow bullets to pass through your body.
Every single book?
She came here to find the secret to immortality.
That's crazy.
It's her job to document everything that happens in the world.
Wait, you want to find the secret to... Y'all should already have that in your foundation. You're part of the council. You guys have the Fountain of Youth. You guys are immortal. Is she just trying to find the secret to, like, what creates people to be immortal? Or the secret behind the fountain and all this other stuff? Because if she's looking for immortality, that's dumb because she should already have it. Like, if that's really the case, she wasted all her time reading all those books for something that she already has. Ain't that a bitch, bro?
She can't do that if she's dead. She explains that she figured out that the fruit that the serpent forbade everyone to eat wasn't actual fruit, but the knowledge contained in the library. By having read every book, she has consumed the fruit. She no longer needs the serpent, because she was the serpent.
What?
The archivist falls to the ground and begins to writhe around, contorting her body as it starts to change.
What?
She begins to elongate as her limbs seemingly disappear. The next thing Calvin and Adam
Surely
know,
is a serpent.
they're face to face with a giant snake. Calvin dodges as the serpent lunges at him, and Adam stands in the doorway, firing at the snake with his pistol. But just like with the archivist's human,
Does she turn into a serpent?
bullets have no effect. The serpent coils around Calvin and begins to choke the life from him as Adam can only watch, helpless.
Sorry, Calvin, but yo, did she become a snake after consuming all the books, or was she always a serpent? What the heck?
Calvin cries out with his last breath. The tube, Adam! Open the tube!
Oh,
Adam takes
do
the
it!
tube that was given to him by the librarian and opens
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!
A long, heavy spear slides out that looks much too large to have ever fit inside.
Whoa.
He drops the tube to the ground and watches in amazement as it starts to transform, turning into what looks like a large harpoon gun. Adam knows what to do and places the giant spear into the gun and points it at the serpent. You can't kill me, the giant snake says.
It's like a holy arrow.
I've eaten from the tree of life. Adam pulls the trigger and the huge spear flies through the air, striking the serpent in the head. Adam runs to Calvin and helps him to his feet. They turn to look at the snake.
Where is it dead?
But instead of the menacing creature, it's the archivist once again, pinned against the tree she once sat under, the spear sticking out of her skull. As the two stand, looking at the archivist,
What kind of arrow is
a tall,
that?
hooded humanoid figure steps out from behind the tree. It looks similar to the librarian, except its robe is a greenish color and it wears long black gloves.
Death
The
again?
creature pulls the spear out of the archivist, whose body slumps to the ground and hands the spear to Calvin.
What kind of spear is
Who
that?
are you? Calvin asks, but his question is ignored. After a moment, the figure finally speaks. That spear you now hold is called the Spear of the Non-Believer. It is an ancient weapon used to kill gods. It is odd that someone in this realm gave you the spear. Even with it, I'm not sure you will be able to complete your quest, Calvin Lucian.
How are these guys getting all these? Okay, I was joking or just thrown out there in the beginning when I said they had like some god killer potion. They literally have a god killing weapon. Bro.
But we shall see. There is a sudden flash.
You got your gun ready?
And Calvin and Adam find themselves transported back to the forest they had entered the Wanderer's library from. A week later, Calvin and Anthony track down 05-9, who in the council is known as the Outsider. She isn't hard to find, and it seems as if she actually wanted to be found.
Oh,
They find her
okay.
sitting outside of her burnt-down family home. The journal had listed this as her address, but Calvin doubted that she would be here, and most he hoped to find a clue to her whereabouts. But here she was, sitting in the ashes of her home. Without
Okay.
turning around, the outsider began speaking. The council just used me, she says. They took away my academic career, my friends, and my life. They made me conduct research for them that compromised everything I stood for, and now here I am with nothing. The outsider lets out a sigh. She asks Calvin if he's afraid of death.
So these are not the original council members? Because they keep on saying the council used me, just like the liar. The council used me. Is he referring to 0513? Like, just some way somehow like the factory story is like a different reality where like the council was a thing with just the fountain of youth, and then the 0513 made a deal with the devil, and he could like bring people inside the council and then make them immortal or something. Like, is this something like that? Because like these guys just seem like regular people. Like they don't seem immortal people. It just seems like they've been used. I'm getting confused.
Calvin shakes his head and responds. Now, the outsider slumps forward and Calvin walks around to face her. She is covered in blood. Her eyes move to look up at Calvin. You're lying, she says, as she dies from self-inflicted wounds. Calvin and Anthony cross 05-9 off the list and head back to the car. As they walk, Anthony says what's been on everyone's minds the last few days. The easy part is done. We'll only get harder from here. We know 05-8 is in his castle. I'm sure we'll get in, but I'm not sure if we'll make it out alive. I know, replies Calvin. But if we're going to save the world, we must eliminate the rest of the overseers.
Oh my
even
God.
if it means sacrificing our own lives. They get in the car and drive off into the blood-red sunset to pick up the rest of the Kill Squad team before their next mission.
Yo, this was cool. This was really, really cool. Okay, so it doesn't seem like I did anything out of order because there's so many Ouroboros Cycle freaking animations I get kind of like lost. But it seems like this is part 1 of SCP-001, The Way It Ends. And I'm assuming The Way It Ends is just a story of, you know, this group killing off the council, the overseers. So, man, this was crazy. This was crazy. We got some abilities from the council. I'm just really confused about, are these the original members on the council, or did 0513 just get these people and use them? Like the liar and this one chick just said, like they were used. I really want to know that. But with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this reaction, please remember to smash that like button. It will mean the world. And also smash the sub button, join the family, and hit that bell so you can always stay plugged with each and every upload. And unfortunately, that concludes today's episode. However, I'll catch you guys on the next one. With